presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Minnesota.
It is a Thursday matinee in Anaheim as the Twins try to avoid getting swept out of town by the Angels. Twins fans are here to enjoy a sensational day at the ballpark. Jared Weaver will go for Anaheim, and he has enjoyed plenty of success in his career against the Twins, including a no-hitter back in 2012. And it's a homecoming of sorts for Ricky Nolasco, who grew up in nearby Corona. The Twins will look to him to complete 6 innings or more after a string of shorter starts here lately, but this is his first career start against the Angels, who have one of the toughest lineups in the majors. Anaheim continuing to dominate here at home, where they've won 17 of the last 21 games here at Angel Stadium. That leads the big leagues over that stretch. Welcome to Anaheim on a beautiful, sunny Southern California day. I'm Jamie Hirsch. The Twins not only lost the ball game last night, they also lost a key player to injury. In our Sanford Health injury report, Danny Santana had to leave the game and is still out of the lineup today after twisting his left knee last night trying to run from first to second on a double in the third. And I watched him try to run at it again this morning, but it's still sore, and he says he has not improved since last night. He was scheduled to have an MRI today and at this point is considered day-to-day. But that's left the Twins shorthanded for the immediate future, so they have called up infielder Jorge Polanco to give Guardy a 3-man bench. They optioned yesterday's starter, Johan Pino. Polanco comes in all the way from Single A Fort Myers, and at 20 years old, he is the youngest Twins player since Joe Mauer in 2004. There is no question, though, the Twins will miss Danny Santana's bat today, and Dick Framer, Burt Blyleven, that might make this tough test even tougher against Jared Weaver today.
Yeah, the Twins over the years, particularly here, have had a tough time beating Jared Weaver. They've had a tough time scoring runs. And in one case, a couple years ago, they had a tough time getting a hit.
Well, no hitter against the Twins. You have to go back to May of 2012 when Weaver got some run support, a 9-0 win, but pitched the no-hitter here in Anaheim against the Twins. 9 strikeouts, no walks in that ball game. And Weaver, over his career here in Anaheim, has always been a tougher pitcher at home than he is on the road, especially against the Twins, where he in 7 starts 6-0 with a 2.92 earned run average.
You've been saying for years that the ball flies better here during the daytime. Jared Weaver's given up some home runs, and the Twins are hoping to hit a few today to get out of town with a win.
Tall and deceptive.
A little funky because he hides the ball so well.
He's been one of the best pitchers in the game for a long time. He threw a no-hitter against us.
He's got great stuff, but his control is probably what puts him over the top.
You look for the ball out over the plate. He likes to really paint that outside corner.
He's in a battle, and it's going to be a tough day.
He does not throw as hard as he once did, but he has mastered the craftsmanship of pitching. He, as was said in that little clip, he can pinpoint the ball where he wants to throw it.
Well, he's a very tall man, too, 6'7", about 210, so almost like a string bean, but we'll show you his delivery as the game goes on. And again, a lot of success against the Twins, especially here in Anaheim.
The Menards batting order for the Twins. Sans Danny Santana, Sam Fuld in the leadoff spot, Brian Dozier batting second, then Joe Mauer, the designated hitter. Kendrys Morales playing first base. Oswaldo Arcia hits fifth, then Kurt Suzuki, Chris Parmelee, Eduardo Escobar, and Pedro Floromon.
And Jarrett Weaver, 31-year-old right-hander, making his 17th start, his first against the Twins this year. 10 of his 16 starts so far have been quality starts, and again, he's pitched very well here at home. His 9th major league season with the Angels. See his numbers, looking for his 8th win, as Wilson did here a couple nights ago, and then Richards won his 8th last night.
Check out the Angels in the field, one of the league's best. Josh Hamilton is in the left, Mike Trout in center, Cole Calhoun in right. David Freese, Eric Ibar left side of the infield, Howie Kendrick, Efren Navarro the right side. Albert Pujols is their designated hitter. Hank Conger will do the catching this afternoon for the Angels. And Mark Carlson will work behind Conger. Greg Gibson, Jerry Davis, Quinn Wolcott, the base umps. Twins with 3 games here in Anaheim, then 3 in Texas. They've not done well against West teams in either league. They were swept earlier at home by the Dodgers. Now hope to avoid getting swept by the Angels. They've struggled against the A's. They were swept at home by the Oakland Athletics.
Yeah, combined 8 and 19 are the Twins between the American League West and interleague play.
Fuld, Dozier, and Mauer. Danny Santana getting an MRI either just a few moments ago or coming up shortly. And if we get the results of those, we will pass those along to you. A lot of people holding their breath, crossing their fingers, whatever, hoping for the best. In the meantime, Fuld takes over the leadoff spot.
Not a bad guy to have in the leadoff spot. He led off before, a guy that you want to get on base so he can create some speed on the base paths. Weaver does not beat himself. Outstanding control, walking less than 3 batters per 9 innings this year. Less hits, only 85 hits on 103 innings pitched. Tall, lanky right-hander. Weaver making his 16th career start against the Twins. He is 8-2 with a 3.35 ERA.
Fuld spins one off the end of the bat, 1-2.
Now, one thing the Twins want to do, they want to win here this afternoon to end a 7-game losing streak on the road. Going back to Detroit, they lost the last 2, then got swept in Boston in the first 2 games here.
And the Twins for a while were playing 500 ball on the road until that losing streak. Fuld lifts one foul.
Weaver not the strikeout pitcher that he once was because, Dick, you talked about it. The velocity is not 91, 93 anymore. It's more, he'll top out at 87, 88, but does a great job of working all 4 corners of the plate.
Fuld takes a fastball down the middle, 1 away.
And that fastball clocked here at 86. A little two-seamer that will start at that left-hander and then work on the inner half of the plate. So Weaver picks up a strikeout, his 81st in 104 innings pitched. See how ball come back? And Conger holding it for a split second. And Carlson, the home plate umpire, Mark Carlson, calling it strike 3.
Brian Dozier will hit. Fouled back. 1 strike. Dozier with 59 runs scored to lead the American League. Troy Tulowitzki leading the major leagues. The next road trip, the Twins will see Tulowitzki and Justin Morneau and the Rockies.
Yeah, only 2 batters for the Twins have faced Weaver more than 6 times. Now, Dozier 2 for 6.
The two are Joe Mauer and Kurt Suzuki.
And now 0-2 to Dozier. Angels have it going pretty good. They're 10 games above 500. They have the second best record in the league and the second best record in their division. Third best record in the league, marginally behind the Tigers by just a couple of percentage points.
Especially here at home, they are 17-4 over their last 21 games.
Dozier strikes out, 2 down.
And I just said Weaver's not a strikeout pitcher like he once was, and what does he do? Strike out the first 2 batters. A lot of hitters say that ball is hard to pick up. It's kind of right on you.
Particularly here at home, the Twins have maintained for years that because Weaver throws across his body, you see the rocks out there in almost straightaway center field, particularly for a left-handed batter like Mauer, where Weaver releases the ball. The hitters say that the ball comes right out of the rocks, not out of the batter's eye. And particularly during day games, it's been an issue for hitters.
They said the same thing about Jim Palmer when he pitched in Baltimore, because he was so much over the top that over the batting eye was a white house, and he could somehow get high enough to that ball would come out of that house behind the batter's eye.
2 strikes to Mauer.
That's some long arms right there. But Weaver does have long arms. He really we have shown slow motion deliveries of Weaver in the past, and it almost looked like it hurt me just watching it. What your arm goes through to throw a baseball.
Called third. 3 strikeouts to start the ball game for Jared Weaver.
And he's not a strikeout pitcher. I'll put my foot back in my mouth.
Weaver striking out the side in the first inning. And the Angels, as Bert said, very tough to beat here at home. Mike Scioscia hoping that his team can return to the playoffs for the first time in 5 years. The Menards batting order has Cole Calhoun on top. Then Mike Trout, Albert Pujols, the designated hitter, Josh Hamilton, Eric Ibar, Howie Kendrick, Hank Conger, David Freese, and Efren Navarro.
And for the first time in his career, Ricky Nolasco will be facing the Angels. Grew up in this area. Rialto, born in Corona, California, about a half hour from here, but his dad, Mexican descent, was a huge Dodger fan. So Nolasco, who ended last season with the Dodgers, kind of had a dream come true pitching for the Dodgers, now getting a chance to pitch here in front of family and friends in Southern California.
Calhoun, Trout, and Pujols in the Angels first. Down low, ball 1.
We talked about it already. 16th start. Twins need a quality start here this afternoon from Nolasco. And he has had only 5 quality starts in his first 15 starts.
High chopper over the mound, off the glove of Florimone, and a leadoff single for Cole Calhoun.
Velasco's given up a lot of hits, 115 hits now in 89 2/3 innings pitched. Calhoun right back up the middle, behind Nolasco, off the glove of Florimone into short center.
The way we've seen Calhoun run, I doubt that if Florimone had fielded the ball, he would have had a chance to get him. Trout the batter with a man aboard. Yeah, Nolasco, now granted it was in the National League, but Nolasco's opponent batting average in his career, 270, and in his first year in the American League with the Twins, almost 50 points higher.
The opponent's hitting .316 off of Nolasco. He's given up 15 home runs. Left-handers hitting .326, right-handers .306. So Nolasco signing that big contract has not been as consistent as the Twins have hoped he would be.
Strike one, ball one, taken by Mike Trout. Nolasco's gotten 9 ground ball double plays, and that sounds okay until you realize that there have been an awful lot of base runners out there too. Tough guy to double up. Calhoun with speed at first, and Trout very good speed at the plate. Nolasco, the opening day starter, and he was supposed to be the marquee name in an improved rotation, but the Twins right now have the worst starters ERA in baseball, 4.82.
24 30 are the starters.
There's a strike 1 and 2.
You know, and the big thing is quality starts. In today's game, 6 innings, 3 earned runs or less. When the staff has been able to do that, the Twins are 27-8. And when a starter goes 6 or more innings, Twins are 28-14. So just go deep into the ball game, be consistent, and that's what Nolasco hopes to start here this afternoon.
Blocked by Suzuki.
And we saw that in his last start. A lot of breaking balls that weren't even close to the plate. And remember his start against the White Sox. I guarantee you Suzuki saved maybe 5 wild pitches from Nolasco. That ball, you can see where that lands. And Suzuki deadens the ball by his chest protector.
2-2 to Mike Trout.
He's had only 3 wild pitches, but you can thank Suzuki behind the plate for that low number. 7 stolen bases against Nolasco in 10 attempts. Calhoun doesn't run a lot, only 2 stolen bases in 2 attempts.
Missing down and in 3-2.
As a leadoff hitter, really, why would you try to steal a lot of bases with Trout up? You know, don't want to get thrown out. And then you have Pujols. Then you have Hamilton. How quick Nolasco opens up and falling off toward the first base line.
Ostrax had that on the inside corner. Now 3-2, and Calhoun takes off. And a foul, and I got a piece of Suzuki. Suzuki preparing himself for the throw, but then the foul tip caught him someplace where he was left exposed.
Oh, this is a daily event with Suzuki behind the plate right now. It just seems like he's been hit a lot over the last week.
Foul tips, bats on follow-throughs.
He's a bulldog back there, which you have to be.
Another 3-2 coming to Mike Trout. Calhoun takes off, and the ball lined to foul.
I think the biggest thing I have seen from Nolasco is lack of trust with the fastball. That's still here clocked at 92. The location, even though he has not walked a lot of batters, 2.6 walks per 9 innings this year, I don't see the aggressiveness with the fastball, especially down and away. And then the breaking ball has been very inconsistent.
Calhoun goes again, half swing, strike 3, Suzuki's throw. Not in time.
Well, he went to the breaking ball right there, gets Trout to kind of half swing for the strikeout, and Calhoun on a 3-2 pitch taking off, and he steals second base. Watch the swing right here at Trout. The breaking ball, half-heartedly swung at that. Nolasco picking up a strikeout, his 64th in 90 innings pitched.
One down, Calhoun at second, and here's Pujols, who has put together an awfully impressive record against Ricky Nolasco. A lot of time spent together when they were both in the National League, and Pujols 10 for 19 with 3 home runs against Nolasco. Suzuki to the mound. This start today marks roughly the halfway mark for Nolasco. This will be his 17th start. You figure 34 starts a year for a starter if they stay healthy. But a lot of numbers are alarming, not the least of which is the innings pitched. He's on a pace to pitch less than 200 innings. He pitched just about 200 last year for Miami and the Dodgers.
And in today's age, that's what you're looking for. You will go out and spend a lot of money. Good breaking ball right there. Pujols swings through it. A lot of money on a guy that has averaged 200-plus innings.
Right. Career high 212 in a third innings back in 2008 for the Marlins. Trying to even his mark at 5-5 and then get a mulligan and pitch much better, he hopes, in the second half. 1 strike to Pujols.
Well, he pitched well for the Dodgers last year after he got traded from Miami. He was 8-3 in 15 starts, 3.52 ERA.
Won 7 consecutive decisions after joining the Dodgers. 1-1.
With Nolasco facing the Angels here, he has now faced every American League and National League team except the Miami Marlins, of course, who he pitched for so many years.
1-1 to the Angel DH. Breaking ball over, 1-2.
All 3 pitches so far have been breaking balls to Pujols. There are the seasons for Nolasco. 2012, 2013, the innings pitched. Signed a 4-year contract with the Twins as a free agent.
Through that hole again. The Twins just can't close that up. Parmalee comes up firing, and Escobar cuts it off, and the Angels get a first-inning run.
3 straight breaking balls. I think they tried to sneak a fastball by Pujols, but he was on it. Picked up an RBI, his 45th of the year.
Another hit for Pujols through the hole between third and short.
Kind of a sinking fastball. Angels take a 1-0 lead.
Now Josh Hamilton.
Kind of showed it last night with Mike Trout and Pujols. They have now driven in, just those 2 guys, 101 runs.
And now Hamilton taking ball 1. Last 3 games, crooked numbers are always bad, but when you give them up early, as the Twins have in the last 3 games, it's hard to overcome. Twins were able to do that against the White Sox at home in the series finale, unable to do it here against the Angels, who have won in the first. And Pujols takes off, and the pitch swung on and missed. Morales was playing behind Pujols, and he got a walking lead and a stolen base.
Don't pay any attention to him. Pujols, a very smart baseball player, and took off for second base. Pujols with his 3rd stolen base of the year. Got a great job, Suzuki. Put the ball in your back pocket. 2nd stolen base of the inning.
It might still take a double to score him. 3-1 to Hamilton.
Well, the Angels are 4 games behind the Oakland A's, and I think this is one of the key members for the Angels to stay healthy. Hamilton missed a couple months with the left thumb surgery.
Fouled away.
Let's go back to Trout and Pujols, what they have meant to the offense for the Angels. Not bad. 35 home runs and 101 RBIs.
Three and two to Hamilton, strikeout prone. And Velasco gets him for out number 2. And that'll bring up Eric Ibar. Northland Ford defense for the Twins. Josh Willingham getting the day off. Chris Parmalee in left. Sam Fold in center. Oswaldo Arcia in right. Escobar, Florimon, Dozier, Morales with Suzuki behind the plate. You know, in our division, we talk a lot about the Tigers and the wonderful mix that they have and the supporting cast that they have and the great hitters they have in the middle of their lineup. Miguel Cabrera and Victor Martinez. If anything, this Angel lineup might be a little bit more threatening, starting with Trout, then Pujols. You mentioned Hamilton is a key guy for them. Now you've got Ibar, who's driven in 39 runs.
Yeah, Ibar's kind of hit everywhere in the lineup since he became an Angel back in 2006. But now hitting in that number 5 spot and is driven in 39 runs.
Strike taken 1-1.
Velasco, 31 years old. Pitched for the Marlins from 2006 to last year, then traded over to the Dodgers. Grew up in this area, now lives in the Miami, Florida area. But still a lot of family and friends here.
Up and away.
Growing up here, Dick, I always pitched well here. I really did. I don't remember too many games that I did not pitch good here because my family and friends. You have to go home. You have to answer to them. You better pitch good. Mom and Dad were in the stands.
2-1. Popped up behind third. Fighting the sun. Florimon drops the ball. That's a fair ball, and Pujols will score. Florimon dropped the ball in fair territory. And it's 2-0 Angels.
That sun is right over the head of the players. You can tell by the shadow. And Florimon, I don't believe he has sunglasses. And I'm going to use the old Harry Carey line. How can a guy from the Dominican Republic lose the ball in the sun? Ball hit straight up off the bat of Ibar. Florimon going over. You can see him fighting it right there and then hit the glove and bounced out of his glove when he was in fair territory.
And now Howie Kendrick.
No, they gave Ibar a hit on that? No way.
Are you kidding me?
No. I'm waiting. I'm not going to ruin my scorebook. That is not a hit.
Down and away a ball. It landed in the middle of the man's glove.
Yeah.
Howie Kendrick. Right now it's an second run is an earned run because of the official scorer's ruling. And now 2-0. It's been a problem for Nolasco. 26 pitches, that's too many. And then within that, not enough strikes, only 14 strikes.
Yeah, his last 3 starts is yet to go 6 innings. He's gone into the 6th inning, always coming out because the pitch count's so high.
To center, and Fold ends the inning. The batter too late. 2 runs for the Angels in the first. strike out 3 times against Weaver in the first.
You mentioned Mulligan, and I'm going to guess take a mulligan here because I said Weaver. He's not a strikeout pitcher like he once was. He struck out a career-high 15 against the Toronto Blue Jays here back in 2011. But he mowed down the Twins in the first inning. 1 swinging strike 3 and then 2 called.
Season-high 9 strikeouts against the White Sox in his last start. But most of the time, just 5, 6 strikeouts in his starts. Kendrys Morales, Oswaldo Arcia, and Kurt Suzuki in the second. Angels shift. The former Angel. And Morales takes ball 1. Well, the Twins didn't catch the ball in the field. They didn't hold. Pujols at first. He stole second, scored on the pop fly double?
No.
How in the name of Abner Doubleday could that be called a double?
Let's hope that the official score does change that. I left my my little square blank, so I still anticipate an error.
1-1 to Morales.
By Florimon.
Swing and a miss, 1-2. Morales hit a home run, his first as a Twin here 2 nights ago. That as a right-handed batter.
Yeah, Morales 3 for 6 lifetime against Weaver. Those coming last year when it's with the Seattle Mariners.
Popped up, short left. And Hamilton comes in, makes the catch 1 away.
You know what Weaver does so well? Now, again, he's going to top out at 87, 88. He does a good job, maybe because of how many years he's pitched, 9 years now at the major league level. He seems to do a good job of reading the hitter at the plate. Changes speeds real well. He's got the big, slow curveball. That was almost a hanging breaking ball, but Morales got underneath it.
1 down, and Arcia will bat.
For Weaver, his 248th major league start. 120 wins, only 66 losses.
Arcia hit his 5th home run of the year last night. Ball 1. And 2-0. You talked about the different delivery that Weaver has. Look at the difference where they finish. Weaver toward the bottom of your screen and where Nolasco's front foot. That's a span of at least 3 feet. Swing and a miss on an off-speed pitch. 2-1.
But what he's able to do, he doesn't recoil. His body is able to come over because of the whip in his arm and fall off toward first base. Now, if he landed there and then recoiled, kind of like what Eric Milton did, then you may have some arm problems. But Weaver been pretty healthy throughout his career.
Swing and a miss by Arcia, 2-2.
I mean, he fractured his left elbow last year only because he kind of fell off the mound and landed wrong on his left elbow. You can see across the body, but you see the follow through, able to bring that right leg through. And that allows the arm to finish up closer toward the catcher's glove.
You have 2 right-handed pitchers, and one falls off a little bit toward the first base side, and the other guy strides almost towards his dugout. Slow breaking ball, and Arcia is a strikeout victim after the throw to first.
And strikeout number 4 for a guy that doesn't have a lot of strikeouts this year. But if you watch Weaver and Nolasco, the 2 different things are their chest. Weaver, when he goes toward home plate, his chest goes toward the hitter. Nolasco really opens up that left shoulder, and his chest then falls off toward first base side. Watch the chest of Weaver if you could see that. See the chest going right toward home plate. And Arcia swings through that breaking ball.
Suzuki back in the lineup, hoping he'd become the first Twins base runner. Inside, ball 1. Long look into Conger. Popped up, right side. Kendrick out in the outfield grass. And a couple of 1, 2, 3 innings to start Weaver's afternoon. It's 2-0 Angels. Velasco hopes for a better second inning.
Well, take a look at both pitchers right here. Watch Weaver on the left of your screen, the way that he kind of comes and his body comes toward home plate. You see how he follows through, and then he kind of, goes toward first base. Where Nolasco, he kind of opens up very quickly, and that arm sometimes drags. And I think he's easier to see than what the hitters from the Twins have said about Weaver. He's hard to pick up, just because he hides the ball a little bit better. Nolasco and Kevin Correa, both guys that just fly open, and that puts a lot of extra stress on that shoulder area.
One strike to Conger. He'll be followed by Freese and Navarro.
Conger, a switch hitter, is a left-handed hitter, hitting .243. All three of his home runs have come from the left side of the plate.
Hit into the shift. Dozier waits for it in short right field. One down.
With all these shifts, what you see, the second basemen now, they almost have to have an outfielder's arm.
Time now for you to tweet your photo using hashtag NorthFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown in an upcoming game broadcast. Brought to you by AT&T. David Freese, the batter, he too has had some success against Nolasco. While Nolasco was with the Marlins, Freese was with the Cardinals. 6 for 12. Half swing, ball one.
Greg Gibson, the first base umpire, saying he did not go. Freese has been kind of a disappointment here in Anaheim in his first season. All-Star a couple years ago with the Cardinals. MVP award, MVP in the 2011 World Series.
They're wondering where the pop went. Just 2 home runs and 5 doubles, no triples, and nearly 200 at-bats.
Fractured his right middle finger back in May, was put on a disabled list. So that still might be bothering him a little bit.
2-1.
5 doubles, only 2 home runs, as you mentioned. Not a lot of extra base hits, hitting only .226. A career .285 hitter coming into this year.
Fisted foul to the screen. Talking about the Twins starting rotation, it's still been a weak spot with an ERA of 4.82. The league average, the American League average for starting pitchers, 4.04. So you're talking about roughly 3/4 of a run per game.
And that's an area we saw the last 3 years that the Twins tried to improve on, going out and getting Kevin Correa, now Ricky Nolasco, Mike Pelfrey. Phil Hughes has been the one I think that's been the best result so far.
Line to left center. And a base hit in front of Parmalee. Well, counting Ibar's double, and I'm reluctant to do that, that's the 4th hit in 8 at-bats against Nolasco. Group outings at Target Field are great opportunities to have fun with your church, school, sports team, and family. Groups of 25 and larger qualify for special ticket discounts and can reserve seats without a deposit. Organize your group outing to a Twins game today. Find out more and call 800-33-TWINS. Ask about a group outing at Target Field. A 1-out single for Freese, and here's Efren Navarro, just called up over the weekend. Strike 1.
Navarro in his second stint with the Angels this year, down in AAA, hitting well, .318 in 60 ball games. Not a lot of pop out of his bat, 8 minor league seasons, total of 46 home runs. He was the Angels' number 50 pick back in 2007.
Hits one through the hole to right. Freese round second, trying for third. Arcia overshoots the cutoff man. Close play, and he's safe.
Good throw, good attempt by Arcia. Freese not the quickest of foot, but he rounds second, headed into third. The ball hits sharply into right field. Arcia comes in, fields the ball properly, picks it up, makes a good strong throw to Escobar, and Freese just able to get that left hand on the bag.
First time through the batting order, and the Angels have 5 hits against Nolasco. Here's Calhoun. Get a chopper over the mound off the thumb of Floromon's glove for a single. He stole second and scored one of the 2 first-inning runs. Down low, ball 1. Twins hoping for a ground ball double play here. Most of the Angel hits have been hit on the ground. Runner at first goes. Suzuki's throw in time to get him. Suzuki to Floromone, and Navarro is thrown out trying to steal.
Navarro attempting his second stolen base at the major league level, and he got thrown out.
Terry Steinbach times these things, and he's been saying all along, you know, our catchers' throwing times are fine. Not so much Pinto, but Suzuki, the primary catcher, they're fine. And I think we just saw what happens when a pitcher or the runner gives the catcher a chance to throw him out. Suzuki threw him out. 2 down, 1-1 to Calhoun. Dug out by Suzuki.
Well, the breaking ball down, and Suzuki again doing a good job before Nolasco deadening that ball.
Angels putting the pressure on, running first to third, trying to steal a base with a 2-0 lead. That's been a characteristic of Mike Scioscia's teams. When the Angels have been good, they force the issue.
Aggressive base running, going from first to third. But, you know, they had some speedsters. They had Isturis, that was pretty quick. You know, Ibar can go from first to third in a heartbeat. Torrey Hunter, when Torrey was here, would do it.
Erstad. 3-1. Trout on deck. Nolasco wants to get this guy. Fouled off a foot. 3-2. You think of the signings, the big headline-making signings they've had here, and you know, you sign Pujols. Well, he's a power guy. Josh Hamilton can run, but he's known for his prodigious power. And it's like the people they brought in here are counter to what they did so well here when they got to the playoffs. Trout fits in perfectly because he's got power and he's one of the fastest guys in the league. The chopper dug out by Morales. And he ends the inning. Couple of hits for the Angels. They don't score. And it's still 2-0. Presented by Century Link, your link to what's next. By Northland Ford. Visit northlandford.com and your local Northland Ford dealers today. And by Grand Casino. The best stories start here. A couple of pop-ups and 4 strikeouts so far for Jared Weaver. And he'll pitch to the Twins in the third, specifically Parmelee, Escobar, and Florimo. Up high, ball 1.
Parmelee 6-game hitting streak going, where he's 9 hits in his last 22 at-bats. Couple doubles, a home run over the last 6 ball games for Chris Parmelee.
There's the first Twins hit. He drills one to right field. Parmelee with a leadoff single against Weaver. That'll bring up Escobar.
Now a 7-game hitting streak.
Saturday, a full day of MLB action, with the Twins playing the Rangers on Fox Sports 1. Then it's Baseball Night in America on Fox as the Red Sox take on Derek Jeter and the Yankees. The MLB doubleheader begins Saturday at 2:30 Central on Fox Sports 1. Continues at 6 p.m. Central on Fox. Eduardo Escobar will bat, then Florimo. Escobar's hitting some pretty tough luck. Told me last night he thought he could easily have 6 hits. You don't expect to hit the ball hard and get a hit every time, but if he'd have gotten hits half the time he's hit the ball hard, that's still 3 hits more than he's gotten.
He just needs a little flair. He's making too good a contact. The line drive at the outfielders, hard hit balls at the infielders.
Something like that. Lost in the sun, maybe. And Calhoun stayed with it, 1 away.
Well, when Kendrick went after it, he kind of put his hands up like, I don't see that ball. But Calhoun, with the glasses on, getting underneath that ball to make the catch.
Recent history would suggest that if that ball had bounced out of his glove, Escobar would have had a hit. Here's Florimo. Weaver talking with his shortstop Ibar about something. Kendrick looking at our Ibar and pointing up into the sky. Florimo, 7 hits in 70 at bats and a total of 10 total bases. It's been a very disappointing 2014 for Florimo. Basically a .220 hitter in the big leagues in his 2 years with the Twins, and the Twins were hoping that he would improve at least a little bit in his third year. And he's just had a dreadful time at the plate. A foul, 1 strike.
Well, if you hit under 200, that was a Mendoza line. If you hit under 100, what line is that?
The Bramer line.
The Bramer line? Is that your high school? Bringing your back your high school right. Numbers?
Wasn't much higher than that, I can tell you that. 1 strike to Floromo. The Twins today from Class A Fort Myers calling up Jorge Polanco because they need some middle infield help, and Polanco the best option on the 40-man roster. Swing and a miss. Polanco on this side of his 21st birthday, only 20 years old.
Yeah, from the Dominican Republic, 72 ball games, 66 games played at short down in Fort Myers, Florida. I got a chance to watch him play a couple times. Good hands, pretty good player. Looking forward to him getting here and hopefully getting into a ball game, getting some major league experience.
Could be today. Florimon takes up and away. He was supposed to land here about 11:30 and
into LAX. You don't know how long that's going to take.
Just hope
to
he
get
gets
down
here before we leave.
Yeah, there he is.
All right. Of course, it was here that Kirby Puckett showed up with the big league club for the first time, and didn't have money for cab fare. And way back in 1984.
He's not 20. He looks 12.
Way back in 1984, the cab fare plus tip was around $80, and Kirby didn't have it. So he had to ask the cabbie to wait for him, and he ran inside to the traveling secretary and got an advance on his paycheck for a cab fare to the ballpark.
No way, a club's supposed to pick that up. Puck, I know, made sure he got reimbursed.
I think he ended up okay on the deal. Florimon waves at a pitch, another strikeout.
5 strikeouts in the first 9 hitters that Weaver has faced. A big, slow curveball. A couple times Florimon swung through that pitch.
2 down, and now Sam Fuld. Fuld called out on strikes his first time up. It's an awfully big leap, and we'll talk more about it and more about Polanco when he does get into the game. But Twins in a kind of a desperate situation. The bottom line is they are down now to 12 pitchers, but not in the manner in which they choose. They might have to make another transaction pending the results of Danny Santana's MRI. They just needed a body to get through the game today. One and 0 to Fuld. And there goes Parmalee. And he's thrown out. I'm not sure what happened there. Parmalee not the top candidate on the team to try to steal a base. He's 1 for 4 now in that category. And we head to the bottom of the third with Mike Trout ready to lead things off for the Angels. third for the Angels.
Let's take a look at the Mall of America scouting report on Mike Trout, and start him down and away. I think you have to work him down and away. If you're going to go in off the plate. And if that doesn't work, you use your breaking ball down. And if that doesn't work, then you pray. Well, Nolasco got him in his first at-bat on a 3-2 breaking ball that Trout kind of half-heartedly swung at, but you can see the hot zones for Trout.
Pitch him upstairs, I guess. Twins got him on a check swing on a high fastball in last night's game.
See a lot of pitches inside, of course, down the heart of the plate. You don't want to pitch them there. Good breaking ball away. I think, you know what, the intimidation factor, too. This guy is a superstar, at only 22 years old. But you have to also pitch him hard in, make him move his feet sometimes, and that kind of opens up the outer half of the plate. Suzuki sitting away, and the curveball misses in.
5 hits for the Angels. Nolasco with a couple of strikeouts, trying to keep this game 2-0. Breaking ball, tap foul. Trout, Pujols, and Hamilton, big three, if you will, for the Angels.
And again, already 48 pitches for Nolasco. 3 shutout innings of the Twins for Weaver, only 35 pitches.
Laced to left, another breaking ball, and Trout was waiting for it. It'll go to the wall, and if they don't hurry, he'll turn it into a triple.
Well, it's not that he was waiting on it, it was where the location was. This was a hanger. Let's do a little pitch by pitch to Trout. Fastball away, he tried to get strike one, and then he went away with a little cutter. And then the breaking ball missed in. Suzuki wanted it away. Then the little cutter again, slider away, and then that's a hanger. That's a hanger right there, and Trout did not miss it. A leadoff double for Trout, his 20th double. And we showed you the hot zone. I think that was in that 418 range.
Here's Pujols. Singled in a run in the first, stole second, scored the second run of the first inning. And now Suzuki out to the mound.
I don't know if the Twins change signs with runners at second base. A quick trip by Suzuki out to the mound, but it's like the third or fourth game in a row when a runner's been at second base. The catcher's had to go out and talk to the pitcher. I can see a reliever coming in. Most guys will have their own set of signs with the runner at second. But as a starting pitcher, you talk about that, long prior before the game.
Into the right field corner, it's 3-0, and Pujols around first, digging for second. Trout pulls a double. Pujols slaps one to the opposite field.
Well, Pujols, who had very good numbers against Nolasco coming into this ball game, picks up his second hit, his second RBI on his 17th double.
7 hits in 12 at-bats this afternoon against Nolasco.
Fastball. You can see again Suzuki sitting outside, but the ball left middle in, and Pujols just shoots the ball down the right field line.
Hamilton called out on strikes, his first time up. Another breaking ball, missing ball one. 50 pitches, 30 strikes, 20 balls and up. It just seems like the breakdown is 30-20, breaking stuff to fastballs. To left center, down for a hit. Pujols around third, they'll wave him in, and Full flips it to second, 4-0.
Hamilton picking up an RBI, just his 18th after missing 2 months with that left thumb third surgery. But again, you see Suzuki, they wanted that ball in, left out over the plate. Hamilton with that high pitch up, just kind of flares it in the left center, picks up an RBI.
with the 4th run scoring. Unless there's a scorer's change in the first inning, this will be yet another non-quality start for Ricky Nolasco. And it doesn't look at the current pace that he's going to complete 6 innings anyway. High fly, short left. Parmalee with a welcomed first out.
You know, throughout my career, I struggled like Nolasco is right here. One thing you always went, and I was told at a young age, go back to your fastball and hit your spots. You have to hit your spots. Already 4 or 5 times we've seen Suzuki sit away and that ball's over the plate. You have to be able to hit your spots at this level. Hitters will punish you.
There's a fastball, strike 1.
That's a good fastball right there. Good location. Now repeat it.
Even at that, it looked like Suzuki had to kind of backhand it, and it wasn't where he was setting up the target.
But the location was better down in the strike zone.
Eight hits, 4 runs early for the Angels. Kendrick lined out to full to end the first inning. Check swing, 1-1. It doesn't seem to you like Nolasco's throwing more breaking pitches than fastballs?
I thought he has over the last 3 or 4 starts, and I've said, you know, he doesn't trust his fastball right now. It sure doesn't seem to me that he does. A little slider right there.
1-2.
Nolasco making his 228th major league start. 93 wins, 80 losses. Career ERA 4.45. And just missing with that fastball.
Nolasco pretty close to hitting Suzuki's target, but not getting the call. 2-2. Goes the runner, and the pitch hit to left. Another hit. Hamilton will check in at second base.
Just not a lot of bite on that breaking ball.
The more you throw it, the more the hitter's going to expect it. I'm sure too. Comes Rick Anderson to the mound. Twins season ticket holders enjoy 10% off concessions and merchandise at Target Field all season long. 2014 season tickets remain available for what's shaping up to be an exciting summer at Target Field. 833 Twins or twinsbaseball.com. Well, the Angels have been swinging the bat well, but this has been a far too common occurrence for Rick Anderson, and I'm sure viewers back home too. Just a whole cluster of hits against Nolasco.
Again, the pitch count: 28 in the first, 16 in the second, 14 so far here in the third.
He's gotten 7 outs, and he's approaching 60 pitches. Conger, the batter, hit a ground ball his first time up. Twins had Conger shifted, or that would have been a base hit. They can't shift now because there are runners at first and second. Pulled hard and foul.
They are very comfortable at the plate.
How common is it, and I'm just throwing this out there because there has to be a reason for this man to be giving up so many hits. How common is it for a veteran like Nolasco to fall into a trap and tip his pitches? Could that be part of the problem?
Well, you would hope not, but I just say you have to go back to location. You have to look at those hitters, how comfortable some of the swings they've taken, that you have to man up sometimes and maybe pitch in a little bit more aggressively. And I'm not saying hit anybody, but yeah, pitch hard in. I learned that from Don Drysdale back in 1970. And when you go hard in, you repeat sometimes. Don't hit that, let that hitter swing like they do.
Double play ends the inning, but the Angels collect 4 more hits and 2 more runs. It's 4-0. Caught up.
Well, the Angels put a couple runs on the board in the first inning thanks to a little pop-up down the left field line that Florimon hit off his glove. Ibar with the RBI single. Pujols with an RBI single in the first inning. In the third inning, a couple more runs allowed off of Nolasco. And Jarrett Weaver, 3 very good innings, has allowed only 1 hit. Not a base hit to Parmelee to lead off last inning.
Parmelee was then thrown out trying to steal. Now Fuld, who was at the plate when that happened, gets a fresh count. Inside, ball 1. When Fuld came out to the outfield after the end of the top of the inning, he handed Parmelee his glove and cap and sunglasses and everything, and they had a little chat out in the left center field, and you wonder whether a sign was missed. Down 2-0, it wouldn't seem like Parmelee would be a candidate to try to steal.
Well, the only thing, Fuld kind of showed bunt. He put the bat out, kind of maybe taking the, Conjure having a tough time maybe seeing the ball, but yeah, maybe a hit and run was missed. You can't imagine Parmelee taking off.
No,
he's not a guy that's going to steal bases.
2 outs in the inning. There'd be no reason for Fuld to sacrifice, you wouldn't think, unless he thought it was a steal.
No, sometimes hitters do. In a steal situation,
right, I mean.
They'll put the bat out there in case the catcher loses sight of the flight of the ball.
3-1 to Fuld. Twins need base runners. Dozier and Mauer will follow. Strike 3-2.
Nothing lead. Another fastball away.
Popped up, back and out of play.
That's why that scoreboard so many times can change the way that you go about your business. Nothing ball game. Even though it's still early, you might even throw a breaking ball. Try to get that out. But here with 4-0 lead, challenge Sam Fuld right here. I'd be surprised if it's nothing than a fastball. Tried to come back in and walk Fuld. Almost the same pitch that struck out Fuld. This is more of a four-seamer that kind of stayed straight. It didn't come back out over the plate.
Carsoup.com trivia: who was the last Twins player to lead the majors in runs scored in a season?
That be Tovar, maybe.
I think it'll be. My guess will be Chuck Knobloch. Dozier leading the American League, 1 behind Tulowitzki. And more importantly, I guess, for the American League side of it, 4 ahead of Josh Donaldson. Safe. When you threw to first, I don't know how many guys you picked off, but where did you try to throw the ball?
About chest high to that first baseman, where his glove is. That was a perfect throw right there, actually.
That was down.
That's a bonus if you could do that every time, but last thing you want to do is short hop that first baseman.
Dozier bunts through a pitch, 1 strike.
Now, Thole does have speed, and teams have run against Weaver. 11 stolen bases, 4 caught stealing now. 5 caught stealing with Parmalee getting caught. You can see the number, 7 for 7. Weaver has 1 pickoff this year, 18 career pickoffs.
I mentioned in the outset, Weaver has given up a few more home runs this year, 14 on the year, and a little over 100 innings. Got a ways to go to break the major league mark.
Yes, he does. Which will never be broken.
You don't think so?
Me and Joe DiMaggio, we're set. 56 game hitting streak, never.
Breaking ball missing. Yeah, when you get something in a single season into the 50s, that's a pretty big number. 56 games consecutively that he got a hit, and 50 home runs. 50 times you turned toward home plate and got a new ball from the umpire.
Yeah. Made a lot of fans that year. Even my family wanted to sit out in left field when I pitched. Or right. They were out there somewhere with their gloves.
And catcher's gear.
Yeah. Well, I also won 17 ball games and led the league in innings pitched. So take that.
2-1. There's a ball hit off the end of the bat, and Hamilton comes in. That's 1 less bat that'll make the trip to Texas. 1 down. And that'll bring up Mauer.
Not a lot of hard hit balls off of Weaver. Parmalee's base hit, really the only one. Everything else has been kind of a little pop up.
And nary a ground ball yet. Strikeouts and pop-ups and fly balls have been the outs. Here's Mauer. He was called out on strikes in the first inning. Ron Gardenhire deciding to give Kendrys Morales a day at first base. Morales wants to play first base. And Mauer tried to bunt in front of Freese, but he bunted it foul.
Yeah, Freese was playing back. Not a bad try right there by Joe Mauer. Twins need base runners. Freese will go back, I'm sure, to the deep part of third base area. There's Freese. There's a little bit of shift that they put on with Ibar shading Mauer a little bit up the middle.
Freese playing maybe a step or two shorter than he was before the bunt attempt. 1 strike. Outside, 1-1. Some pitchers are insulted and get infuriated when someone tries to bunt on them.
I wasn't one of those. I figured I could feel my position and get an easy out. Now, if it's a perfect bunt, you have to tip your hat to him.
Slow breaking ball, tapped to the right side. Kendrick fires to second, close play, and safe at first. Fold retired on a force play. Mauer reaching on a fielder's choice.
Yeah, it looked like a play that Kendrick would make sure he just got the out, but he does spin around and throws a P to Ibar at second base, and had a bang play at first base. So almost a turn of a great double play. Kendrick going to his left. Mauer hitting this ball. Kendrick spinning, turning around. And Ibar strong throw. And Mauer beat it out. Weaver, nice goal.
Here's Morales hit a fly ball to left his first time up. And he beats the shift, cracked his bat, but he dumps a single to left. And it'll bring up Arcia. Hit it right off the end of the bat, it appeared. First and second, 2 down for Arcia.
A second hit for the Twins.
Arcia struck out against Weaver.
Weaver grew up in Southern California, born in Northridge. Attended Long Beach State University, then the #1 pick by the Angels back in 2004. Came up in 2006.
Older brother Jeff had a good major league career,
yes,
primarily with the Tigers. Down low, ball 1.
If I remember right, didn't he start his career? He was like 8-0 right off the get-go.
Jarrett or Jeff?
Jarrett Weaver. Have to look that up. His first year, he's 11-2 in 19 starts with a 2.56 ERA back in 2006.
Breaking ball, a slow one, and Arcia swings through it. 1-1.
He opened his major league career at 9-0, tying an American League rookie record for starting pitching to open a career. Whitey Ford did that back in 1950. A pretty good offensive team behind Whitey.
Plenty of run support. Mantle, Berra, DiMaggio. Inside, 2-1.
Well, one thing Weaver has done too, and this is kind of his home turf, he has pitched well here at Angel Stadium. 63-27 over his career here at home with a 2.67 earned run average.
Tap to the right side. And Arcia is retired. A couple of men left the board. A walk and a hit. No damage on the run column. Stay tuned for this important message from Mesh, Betcher, and Spence. Tampa's due north tonight on Fox Sports North. Join host Bill Shirk and Laura Schara as they take a look at the stories and adventures of outdoor enthusiasts in the upper Midwest. Tonight at 6, due north outdoors only on Fox Sports North. Maybe it'll be a timely segment tonight. How to fish in extremely high water, whether it's in a Minnesota or Wisconsin, North South Dakota lake or river. All the water levels are so high, and there's more rain expected back home on Saturday.
Yeah, be careful.
You know, that's pretty good advice. Really be careful when you're out there on the lakes. And Rivers, even more so than normal. 4-0 Angel lead, and Nolasco needs to give the Twins some innings here, and hopefully effective innings. 1 strike to Freeze, and now a ball, 1-1. 9 hits for the Angels through 3 innings. Slow breaking ball over for a strike.
All the starters for the Angels have at least 1 hit. Albert Pujols with 2. Only one without a hit is Hank Conger, their catcher. 0 for 2.
That barely made it out of the grass.
See, those are the pitches I'm talking about. I don't know what he's thinking right there, what he's trying to do with that one pitch. Now, you only get 100 pitches, maybe 110 at the most, and you want every pitch to have a purpose. I don't know what the purpose is of that pitch. He's got to find a special purpose.
And a strikeout of Freeze, 1 away. That'll bring up Navarro.
Nolasco picks up his 3rd strikeout. Well, maybe the previous pitch set this breaking ball up.
One down. Here's Navarro. Navarro with a single. Was thrown out trying to steal. And a strike.
Navarro, 28 years old, out of the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. I always like to see guys that were drafted high make it to the big league. Denny Hawking, I think, was number 52 round, something like that.
Yeah.
Navarro, number 50 by the Angels in 2007. Grew up in Las Vegas.
Remember years ago, this was during his first stint, I believe, as general manager. Terry Ryan said somebody asked him at a caravan banquet or whatever what draft pick he was proudest of, and he's had some obviously successful draft picks, including Joe Mauer and some others. He said at the time that the pick he was proudest of was Brian Robbie from New Ulm. Yes. And one of those low round picks who ended up making it to the major league. And Brian, you know, was with the Twins for a little bit, didn't have a great major league career by any means, but the Twins got a useful player, not just at the big league level, but through their minor league system in one of those lower round picks.
And back-to-back strikeouts for Nolasco as he throws that breaking ball underneath the swing of Navarro. 4 strikeouts now for Nolasco. You know, you can be a number 1 pick, you can be a number 10 pick, but it's the heart inside and the determination that you have and the willing to work that little extra to get to where these guys are.
And the Twins are like every other team. They've had first round flops, and then they've had the lower round draft picks that have broken through and had great careers.
A lot of this is maturity too. You know, a lot of high school kids get drafted, you know, and they leave home maybe for the first time. And how do they respond?
1 strike to Calhoun. Oh, foul. Look
Actually,
out.
I had lunch with Jim Hughes, former Twin, yesterday. He and his lovely wife, Annie. And we were talking about that issue. Our Fred Waters was our first manager down in rookie ball, and it just seemed Fred Waters at that time, he had was like 35 to 40 of us in there, and he said, you know, he's giving us one of his speeches, and he said, look around the room, boys. You'd be lucky if 2 of you ever get to the big leagues. And of course, I'm looking around, wonder who the other one is. And Jim's doing the same thing, and lo and behold,
you were the 2.
We were the 2 only that made it to the big leagues that year out of the 1969 Sarasota rookie team.
1 and 2 to Calhoun. Nolasco hoping to strike out the side.
Hugo Go-Go.
Called 3rd strike, and Nolasco strikes out Freeze, Navarro.
Take
and
that,
Calhoun.
Jarrett Weaver.
A lot of hits for the Angels this afternoon as you look at our Pepsi fan of the game.
Kind of warm and muggy here this afternoon. Got a baseball, taking a picture of it.
I thought for a moment there he had a powder blue Bert Blyleven jersey on, but it was a powder blue Rod Carew jersey.
Very nice.
Suzuki, the leadoff man here in the 5th. It'll pop up to second his first time up. Twins with a couple of hits and a walk, but Weaver's been his usual stingy self against the Twins here in Southern California. Strike one.
Oh, and he's working that nice slow breaking ball in to where the hitters, a lot of the Twins hitters, have gotten themselves out by swinging at that breaking ball. That's what ended up the at-bat of Arcia last inning. Big slow curveball that he hit the first base.
Twins started the year with Suzuki and Josmiel Pinto as their catchers. Word coming today that Pinto now is on the disabled list for the Rochester Red Wings with a hip issue. Hope it's nothing too serious. The Twins want Pinto to get some regular work down there and improve his catching skills. 1-1 to Suzuki. 1-2.
Saw what that slow curveball does to that swing of Suzuki right there. That fastball clocked at 87, and Kurt was slow on it. They go back to the fastball. Now going inside is Conjure. And Suzuki strikes out. Strikeout number 6 for Weaver.
I'll bring up Parmalee.
Conjure sitting middle in. And Weaver just rearing back and ladder fly at 87.
Parmalee with a single to right was thrown out trying to steal on what might have been a missed hit and run signal. Missing inside, ball one. Past Weaver, and Parmalee will reach. A little collision between Kendrick and Ibar, and that's an important hit for Parmalee. But more importantly, the announcement made during that at bat about Danny Santana. He has a left bone bruise in the knee, which, are you a doctor? I'm not a doctor, but
that sounds great.
That sounds wonderful to me. And Santana's such a pivotal part, not just of this year, but of the Twins' future. He has been, as Ron Gardenhire said, the catalyst for the Twins this year. He's been in the beginning, middle, or end of so many good innings for the Twins offensively. So the word is on Danny Santana, the results of the MRI showing a bone bruise.
See, I would have thought, Brian Dozier to me is kind of the catalyst of this offense.
Yeah,
but here,
just telling you what the manager said.
37 games at Major League games, and Santana's the catalyst.
Escobar, the batter. Well, then maybe we call Dozier the catalytic converter with the home runs. And outside, 1-1. Concern a young player, of course, and if you were watching late last night, it just seemed like a benign, innocent, guy running from first to second on a double, and Santana had to leave the ball game. There's a high pop-up, short right. Kendrick's going to have to hustle out. Parmalee, what a fine play by Kendrick. Parmalee playing it 2/3 of the way. And he almost played that ball going out like he was coming in for it. He made it look that easy.
Let's take a look at the play last night from Danny Santana as he rounded first. Somewhere where he said he stepped on the bag and then that left knee kind of gave way. And that's good news. As long as the MRI doesn't show a tear or something in there.
The Twins trainers were convinced last night that ligament-wise he was okay. He can do range of motion things and all that in the trainer's room, but the concern, I think, was cartilage-related. You never know what might cause a cartilage tear, and it does not sound like that's going to be an issue. Here's Florimon with a fly ball to center. Trout going back. And that ends the inning. An infield hit for Parmalee, his second hit of the ball game. But other than that, nothing against Jared Weaver.
For the Angels, who lead 4-0. And I talked to Kendrys Morales about Trout because he was his teammate for a few years, and he remembers when Trout first got called up. Morales, at the time, was the Angels' best hitter, but he says he knew Trout was something special right from the start. He said when he first came up, every day was a good day for him. He seemed like he'd always get an RBI, a couple hits, a home run. Kendrys Morales said he has never seen anything like that from a rookie, and he is not surprised that he has just continued that year after year to become one of the game's best hitters.
Yeah, not only a great hitter, a great defensive player, but also a great person. I mean, you watch him around, walking around, saying hello to everybody, and just a true gentleman. He was brought up the right way, believe me.
I suppose I've had 3 or 4 encounters with him briefly around the batting cage, and he gets it. You know, you hear that phrase a lot. This guy gets it. Sharp ground ball hit right at Florimo. Run every ball out as he just did there. Be accommodating to the media. Treat everybody like they are an equal.
Like you want to be treated.
Exactly. And Trout at a very young age has that part figured out. 1 down. And Nolasco settling down here in the middle innings, hoping that the Twins can come back and at least get him off the hook. Pujols the batter with a couple of hits, couple of runs scored. Fox Tracks presented by Ram, and there's a first pitch strike.
RBI single in the first, RBI double in the third for Pujols.
Popped up short center. Dozier back, and he makes a fine play staring up into the sun. 2 down. Not only outs, which are welcome certainly under these circumstances, but relatively quick outs for Nolasco now. 2 down in the 5th.
77 pitches for Nolasco.
Hamilton with an RBI single and a strikeout. Outside, ball 1. Angels trying to not only sweep the Twins, but have a perfect homestand. Imagine what the Twins did to the White Sox, only extending it by a couple of games. They're trying to go 6-0 here in this homestand.
Swept the Texas Rangers. Last time the Twins have been swept here in a 3-game series, just a couple of years ago, in that 3-game series that Jarrett Weaver pitched the no-hitter.
That was a frightening series because not only did Weaver throw the no-hitter, Jerome Williams nearly threw a perfect game against the Twins in that same series. Then the Twins went up to Seattle and faced King Felix and Iwakuma. There weren't a whole lot of runs scored in that West Coast road trip. 2-2 to Hamilton. Check swing. 3-2. Velasco's gotten 6 outs from the last, or 7 outs rather, from the last 6 batters, counting the Conger double play in the third. Fouled away. Well, you look at Hamilton here, Kinsler in Detroit, Nelson Cruz in Baltimore. Then you count, there's ball 4, you count the 14 players the Rangers have on their disabled list, and is it any wonder the Rangers are struggling? They've lost so much talent through free agency, through trades, through the disabled list. And if the Rangers don't watch it, they're going to be in last place in their division to the Houston Astros. Look at the American League West right now. Rangers are hosting the Tigers tonight, trying to win the final game of that series. They've lost 7 straight, and they find themselves just 3 games ahead of the Astros. Ibar, the batter.
You know, you can lose a player here or there, a key player, and hopefully they come back quickly. But the Angels, I mean, they're losing players for the season. You know,
the Rangers.
Rangers, excuse me, Rangers, yeah.
Yeah, they have 14 players on the disabled list, 9 of them on the 60-day disabled list. If you have a limit, you can only have 5 players on the 15-day disabled list, so some of that is out of necessity. But it gives you some idea of the depth of the injury issues for Texas. 1-1 to Ibar. Breaking ball snaps over. 1-2.
It's kind of the Jarrett Weaver, what he's been throwing to the Twins curveball right there. Big, slow curveball. And Ibar taking it for a strike.
Hamilton, it's a check swing and a strike, and that ends the inning with Suzuki tagging Ibar. Another good inning for Nolasco, but the Twins are down 4-0.
circled all the way from Minneapolis to L.A. to Anaheim. And Twin fans, don't forget at Twin home games, bring your Circle Me signs, and you might find yourself in a Minnesota Lottery winner's circle where you could win $100 worth of lottery scratch-off tickets, courtesy of the Minnesota Lottery. I like those signs. A little hole in there, stick your head through there. Remember, we did it one time years ago, but there were like 4 or 5 nuns that had signs like that, and they all sat there.
Oh, is that right?
With their head between the hole.
Sam Fuld will lead things off in the 6th for the Twins. 3 hits for Minnesota, all singles, 2 of them from Chris Parmelee. And Fuld takes a strike.
And a pitch count very good for Jarrett Weaver. 65 pitches right now, 42 strikes. 1 walk, 6 strikeouts.
1-1. Two and one. Be interested to see what the Twins do in center field, whether they are content to let Fuld to play out there on a daily basis. He's clearly the best option. In terms of the 25-man roster, maybe option's the wrong word. If you say the word option, that means there's another possibility, and Fuld is the only guy
right.
who's had any appreciable time. The Twins ran Escobar out there. That didn't go well, and Parmelee can play out there, but that's not his preferred position. 2-2. Santana played there, but the Twins like him better at short. Fuld retired 1 away. I guess the point of it all is that you just get the sense that for Aaron Hicks to be an option out there, he needs to reassert himself as a prospect. That he's not on the radar screen right now. 1 down in the 6th. Here's Brian Dozier. Dozier 0 for 2. Brian Buxton now starting to be a little bit more active after his sprained wrist. And a first pitch strike. Buxton hurt his wrist in spring training, played a little bit, and then re-injured it. Popped up near the Angel dugout. Conger, as the ball spin back towards him, and it's the third baseman Freese who makes the catch. Conger was 5 feet away, looking up. 5 feet away from where Freese ended up catching the ball.
Well, he knew he was in the vicinity. Vicinity, excuse me. Ball hit straight up. It looked like it was going to go foul, but the spin of the ball kind of brought it back right by the dugout of the Angels. Freese reaching over and making the catch.
Dozier retired, and now Mauer 0 for 2. Mauer with a strikeout in the 1st, reaching a fielder's choice in the 4th. The ball hit to center. Trout coming in, but it'll drop for a hit. Mauer has the 4th Twins hit, all singles against Jared Weaver. Now on FoxSportsNorth.com, get complete coverage of the NBA draft from Phil Irvin, including his first-round mock, and later tonight, full stories and quotes involving all of the Timberwolves draft picks. Here's Morales. I suppose the case can be made that the top 3 position players for the Twins in the minor league system prior to this year were Byron Buxton, Miguel Sano, and Danny Santana. Morales takes a strike. Buxton really hasn't been able to play at all in the first half. The hope is he'll jump right in the second half and have a really good second half. Sano lost for the season with something that's just about unheard of, a position player needing Tommy John surgery. That's why last night was such a awful night for the Twins. They lost a ball game, and then Danny Santana went down with a knee injury. But the encouraging news again today is it's a bone bruise and presumably a short-term situation and not a long-term.
Well, the sad part is we have to keep talking about the young guys that might be superstars. You know, what about the guys that are here? They're getting the opportunity, and some of them not getting what the Twins expect out of them.
And some of them aren't here anymore. 2 strikes. Now a ball. Arcia's gone back and forth, and you know, when he's doing well at the plate, he looks like a future impact player. But last night he ended an 0 for 31 slump. 1-2 to Morales. That's poked to center, and that's down for a hit. Mauer will round second, go to third, and a throw from Trout. The Twins with 2 outs get a pair of singles, and that will bring up Arcia with 2 men aboard.
Yeah, both hits by Mauer and Morales. Morales getting his second single. Not hit sharply, a little bit off the end of the bat, but hit in the right spot in front of Trout in right center.
And now Arcia, who has struck out and grounded out to first.
Yeah, Weaver has thrown Arcia a lot of slow breaking balls. See if that continues here in his third at bat. And if Arcia can wait back and maybe, you know, kind of flare it out somewhere rather than trying to hit a 3-run home run. Well, Weaver, good pitch count. 19, the most he needed, that in the 4th inning.
Arcia figures to play a lot in Texas. The Twins will face 3 right-handed starters: Tepish, Darvish, and Lewis. Skips a rope, ball 1. 5 hits for the Twins, 9 for the Angels.
Saw the last pitch right there. That's what I was talking about earlier in the ballgame about Nolasco, where hitters feel comfortable. That pitch down and in, make that hitter move his feet. And that's exactly what Weaver did right there. Does that set up another pitch? Maybe a slower pitch? Now sitting away, fastball away, called a strike. Three-time All-Star, Jarrett Weaver.
One and one. Another one inside. 2-1. To right and down for a hit. Mauer scores. Arcia with a single, and the Twins are on the board.
Yeah, good hitting by Arcia. Didn't try to do too much. That's what Tom Bernansky, that's the at-bat he wants to see right there. Not a bad pitch by Weaver. Looked like it was down in the strike zone, but Arcia just went down and hit it sharply into right field. Picks up an RBI, his 15th of the year. Let's take a look at the pitch. Like an off-speed pitch. Arcia waited back nicely, used those strong hands and lined it into right. Mauer scores, and Morales stops at second.
Mike Butcher, pitching coach for the Angels, with some words for Weaver. And Suzuki now represents the tying run. It's interesting. We talked for years about how the ball carries so much better here during the daytime. Trout hit a double that got to the wall, but we haven't had a fly ball even as far as the warning track yet here in today's game. Suzuki with 2 home runs, one of them technically an inside the park home run, even though the ball cleared the wall. Swing and a foul. Twins have hit 60. They've allowed 63. So that part of what we've seen is a terrible imbalance over the last 3 years. That part's a lot better. The Twins would love to capitalize on the 3 2-out singles and put another number up on the board other than a 1. Very high, 1-1. Curve hit right off the end of the bat. Ivan goes a short way to end the inning. Bauer, Morales, Arcia all single. The Twins get a run. It's 4-1. By Toyota. Let's go places. To find your nearest Toyota dealer and check out our current offers, visit buyatoyota.com. By Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, for the everyday competitor in all of us. And by McDonald's, where right now you can score a delicious, creamy McCafe iced coffee starting at just $1.59. 4-1 Angels, and if you're looking to make some 4th of July plans that might include baseball, how about the series the Yankees are playing against the Twins July 3rd through the 6th? Got some great baseball, and fans will be treated to a fireworks show, 2 very special bobblehead giveaways, and a moving tribute to Lou Gehrig on the 75th anniversary of his famous farewell speech. You can find out more about the 4th of July weekend activities at Target Field by calling 833-TWINS or going to twinsbaseball.com. Howie Kendrick taking a strike now, a ball. I remember longtime Twin scout Angie Giuliani telling me stories about being on the field for Lou Gehrig's speech. His speech made at Yankee Stadium happened to be when the Washington Senators were in town. The ball lined to right field, and Arcia over a few steps, 1 away. And Angie, in essence, saying it's one of those things. You're on the field, and you're honored to be there, and it's a very special thing. You don't realize how special until history makes it special, and time makes that event very special. 1 down in the 6th. Here's Conger.
Well, when you can have a guy like Angie Giuliani remember that, I mean, he was in baseball for so long. What a great man he was.
Always enjoyed once a year after he sold the ball club, Calvin Griffith would hold a lunch, and he'd invite certain people, and for whatever reason Calvin would invite me, and I'd get there early, and I would sit as close to Calvin as I could get and just name drop have them tell me a Babe Ruth story, a Walter Johnson story. And Calvin, too, who was a bat boy on the 1924 Senators that won the World Series, had some great stories. I never got around to, unfortunately, asking him about a Burt Blyleven story. Would he have had a few to tell?
No.
2 strikes to Conger. And now a ball.
Well, Nolasco settling down nicely. Conger hit into that double play to end the 3rd inning, and that's been it. Just a walk over the last couple innings.
Pulled foul. One and 2 to the Angel catcher. He's trying to fight their way back from an early deficit again.
No, I used to go on the Winter Caravan, and Don Cassidy worked in the front office for many years with the Twins, and he kind of helped me as a 19-year-old kind of get up in front of people and talk to them for the first time.
There's a nubber, and Nolasco has an easy play, underhanding it to Morales, 2 down. This weekend, a full lineup of Twins baseball on Fox Sports North and Fox Sports 1. Tomorrow night, opening game against the Rangers on Fox Sports North starting at 6:30 p.m. And Saturday, the action moves to Fox Sports 1 for Game 2 of the matchup with the Rangers beginning at 2:30, and then the series finale, road trip finale, Sunday back here on Fox Sports North at 1:30. And then the Twins come home for a good long while, and that's, I think, going to be a welcome homestand for everybody. Twins have 3 with Kansas City, 4 with the Yankees. It'll be the first homestand of more than 5 games in more than a month. High fly to center, and Full to tracking it, and finally a warning track fly ball.
And I'll finish my story when we come back.
Hold your breath.
Take a look at the Grand Casino story of the game. Albert Pujols with an RBI single, giving the Angels a 1-0 lead, bottom of the 1st. He added another RBI double in the 3rd inning for a 4-0 lead for the Angels. And the Twins end up picking up 3 hits in a row off of Jarrett Weaver in the 6th inning. Waldo Arcia picking up an RBI single, making it a 4-1 ball game. Well, Weaver starting his 7th inning with 83 pitches.
Hitters will be Parmelee, Escobar, and Florimon. And now your story.
Now going back to Calvin Griffith, at 19 years old, Don Cassidy helping me with my speech. And he said, I asked him, I said, people ask me my relationship with Mr. Griffith. And he said, well, just say this. He said, just say, we have a very strange and wonderful relationship. He's strange and I'm wonderful.
And you use that for
yes.
20 years
Yes,
of Caravan.
Yes, I have.
Parmalee with a pair of hits against Weaver. Twins have just 6. And there's a strike.
Yeah, base hit to the outfield for Parmalee, and then a ball that got underneath the glove of Weaver that he probably should have caught became an infield base hit for Chris.
Check swing 1-1. Parmalee getting the start in place of Josh Willingham, with the Twins playing the odds, trying to get as many left-handed bats in there as they can. Check swing and a called strike, 1-2. Willingham was 3 for 14 with 5 strikeouts, couple of home runs against Weaver.
This year coming into the ballgame, left-handers hitting .250, right-handers just .172. 10 of the 14 home runs he's allowed have been to left-handed hitters.
On the right field line, Parmalee with 3 knocks in the game. Just a little fly ball down the right field line, softly hit, and the Twins have the leadoff man on in the 7th.
Good day at the plate for Chris Parmalee. Came in with a 6-game hitting streak where he was hitting over 400.
You know, you were talking before, and you were right on with players, maybe not some players, not taking advantage of the opportunities given them over an extended period of time. And the way things have happened this year, Parmalee given one more chance, taken off the 40-man roster. Now he's hitting just under 300 against lefties. 3 hits today. The average will be a lot better than it was at the start of the day. He's a functional outfielder, probably a better first baseman. And who knows, if it's the last chance for Chris Parmalee, maybe it'll be the one that he'll take advantage of.
I sure hope it is.
Here's Escobar, a couple of pop-ups, a fly ball to right and a pop-up to second. Taken for a strike.
And there's that big slow curveball again by Weaver.
Twins hoping to generate a rally from the bottom third of their lineup. Escobar batting, and then they would need something from Florimon in the on-deck circle.
This will be pitch number 90 for Weaver.
Tap to the right side. And safe at first. Navarro firing to Ibar, and Escobar reaches on a fielder's choice.
And Weaver getting over there, becoming the first baseman. But Escobar just beat it out. Navarro, make sure you get one. Make a good throw to the shortstop. Then it's up to the shortstop to make a good throw to now the pitcher, Weaver, covering the bag.
And now Pedro Florimon. Danny Santana still on the active roster as of game time today, and the hope is that he'll be able to stay off the disabled list with the left knee bone bruise. And Jorge Polanco is here in uniform. Nice pickup by Conger, keeping that ball from going to the backstop. But even in this situation, with the Twins running out of outs, backhanded pickup, be a tough situation to put Polanco in his major league debut, pinch hitting for Florimon, but then you don't have an infield move to make. That's one of the limits of the roster, the way it exists for the Twins. Up and away. Ron Gardenhire said he had to let Florimon hit late in the game last night because the infield move had already been made when Santana came out. Asked Kurt Suzuki which infield position he'd be willing to play. And manager asked it only partly in jest, and Suzuki said anywhere but short. 2-0 to Florimon. And a strike.
Florimon may have had the take right there as he took that fastball right down the middle of the plate. Looking down at Joe Vavra, the third base coach, as he goes through a set of signs.
7 hits in 72 at bats. 3-1, and Weaver a little disgusted with himself. See if he issues Florimon a free pass here. Fold on deck.
Weaver with 1 walk in the ball game.
Popped up. Shortstop Ibar calling for it. 2 down. And the hitting struggles for Florimon continue. Sam Fuld will bat. You can follow every Twins game with MLB.com at bat on your favorite mobile phone or tablet. Get live look-ins, instant replay, scores, stats, audio, the free MLB.tv game of the day, and more. Download at the App Store or visit twinsbaseball.com today. Fuld with a walk, a strikeout, and a comebacker to the mound. Twins would love Fuld to get aboard to get Dozier to the plate as the tying run. Another nice dig by Conger.
Weaver has 1 complete game this year, that against the Houston Astros here in Anaheim. He won that ball game 2-1. Only gave up a couple hits, 1 run.
Popped up, back and out of play. Angels right now functioning at a very high level, and the Twins are struggling in a couple of areas, starting pitching first and foremost. Twins haven't scored an abundance of runs in the Chicago series, just enough to win 4 close ball games. Trying to get a big hit here from Fuld. Low breaking ball, 68 miles per hour.
That has been working for him all afternoon, and again that makes that 86, 87 mile an hour fastball seem faster when he's able to get that big slow curveball over.
Parmalee chipped one of those down the right field line for a hit. 1-2. In the dirt, another block by Conger.
That's a good take by Fuld right there. He came back with a slow curveball.
Did you ever back off your curveball into the 60s, 60 miles per hour?
No, not that slow. But I had a get me over curveball, usually the first pitch, and then with 2 strikes in you throw it a little bit harder, but not like Weaver's.
Stroke to right, down for a hit. Escobar to third, and Dozier will have his chance representing the tying run.
That's a good at bat right there for Sam Fuld. He laid off of that previous slow curveball, and this time Weaver came back with it, but he left it up, and Sam Fuld did not miss it, hitting it sharply down that right field line. Here it is again, but he kept those hands back nicely. Calhoun getting it back in. Runners at the corners for the Twins with 2 outs.
Another 2-out hit for the Twins. The Twins strung 3 of them together to score a run in the 6th. And now Dozier, the team leader in home runs, with a chance to erase the 3-run deficit. Down and away, ball 1. Up high 2-0.
Some action in the Angel bullpen. Mike Morin up.
I pitch in all 3 games of this series.
Most pitches Weaver has thrown in an outing, 109 this year.
And now 3-0 to Dozier with Mauer on deck.
Weaver and Conjure taking a little extra time here.
And here comes Mike Butcher.
This is a trip just to allow the reliever Morin to get a little more throwing in down in that bullpen. Mike Morin did not get up until Sam Fuld got the base hit.
Dozier will use the opportunity to talk to Joe Vavra. What do you do here? You give Dozier the green light here, don't you? 3-0?
Yeah, you do, unless it has to be middle in.
Right.
We've seen Brian, that's his power zone right there. So it has to be a pitch that he can drive somewhere. Willingham the other night here had a 3-0 go ahead and swing, and then he popped it up. But the pitch was out over the plate, a pitch more likely to pop up than to drive somewhere.
Some hitters talk about keyholing it. It's got to be right in the right spot.
Now you also look who's on deck. Joe Mauer on deck, and Joe's been swinging a pretty good bat. 7-game hitting streak for Joe.
Dozier gets his pitch.
I wouldn't be surprised if he takes a pitch right here.
Okay, I would think just the opposite. We'll see.
It's going to be a fastball. Yeah, he took something off that. It's 77 miles an hour, so Weaver may be thinking, you know what, if he's going to be swinging right here, I'm going to throw and that shows a lot of confidence in that changeup.
Whether he had the green light or not, now in 3-1, he'll be swinging away if it's a pitch to his liking. Wow. Another breaking ball. 3-2.
A 3-0 changeup at 77, then that big slow curveball at 70 miles an hour clocked here. Now, do you try to sneak the fastball by him after 2 slow pitches?
Three and 2 to Dozier.
He did. He tried it. Dozier popped it up.
And the Twins leave 2 aboard in the 7th.
A telecast presented by the authority of the Minnesota Twins and may not reproduce or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Minnesota Twins, LLC. Weaver's afternoon is, I'm sure, done. 106 pitches, 68 for strikes.
And Nolasco will enter this inning just under 100 pitches. He'll try to get through the seventh. Navarro, Calhoun, and Trout. Strike on the outside corner. And there's no question that Nolasco has got better command of his pitches, has gotten ahead with more strikes through the middle innings than he did in the first three. You just hope that after 3 innings the horse, the cow, and the chickens hadn't already left the barn.
You know, Florimon catches that ball in the first inning. It's a 3-1 ball game, and I know they still gave him a double, that being a Ibar, but you know, that's a quality start. That's, if anything, that's an unearned run, and it's 3 earned runs in 6 innings.
2-1 now to Navarro. Secondarily, it's significant that Nolasco's out there throwing pitches in the 7th inning. Early on, it looked like he might not survive 5. And now 3-1. The last thing he wants to do is walk the number 9 batter.
Yeah, just 1 walk for Nolasco, 6 strikeouts.
Weaver fell behind Florimon 3-1 and came back to get him. And then ended up getting Dozier after falling behind 3-0. Stroke to right, a base hit. Garcia is going to try to cut it off, spin and fire, and it's a single to start the 7th inning.
Navarro picking up his 2nd hit of the ball game, and for the Angels, their 10th.
And now Cole Calhoun.
First hit off of Nolasco since the 3rd inning. Well, you fall behind. He came in with a fastball. Good solid swing right there.
Calhoun, a single, a ground ball, and a strikeout. Put away ball 1. 156 at bats and 1 sacrifice bunt. This is a situation where Mike Scioscia, if he felt Calhoun was a good bunter, might try to drop one down to get a runner in scoring position for Trout and Pujols. And now Nolasco falls behind Calhoun 2-0. Angels with 10 hits, 7 singles, 3 doubles. The Twins have 8 singles. Navarro tried to steal second base in the 2nd inning, and Suzuki threw him out. Into right field. Navarro heading to 3rd. And Nolasco starts the 7th, but is greeted with back-to-back singles.
Like Navarro, Calhoun picking up his 2nd hit of the ball game. And Ron Gardenhire, who was hoping that Nolasco could get through the 7th inning, just to make that slow walk out.
The number's not very good for Nolasco again, with 11 hits allowed in 6+ innings. Average of nearly 2 hits per inning pitched. And Matt Guerrero will pitch next. promised earlier in the game, we have the AT&T fan photo of the game. You can tweet your photo to #NorthFanPhoto for a chance to be shown in a broadcast brought to you by AT&T.
What is it today? Very nice. Tricia. Tricia's here enjoying the ball game.
Now, Matt Guerrero comes in a tough spot, first and third, nobody out with the Twins already down by 3.
Yeah, Matt making his 17th relief appearance. He worked here on Tuesday night. The first batter he faced was Mike Trout, and Mike Trout hit a little comebacker back to him.
Coming out by Suzuki, Fox Tracks presented by Carrier. Twins shortening up the infield here a little bit. Morrow, the runner at third, Calhoun at first. Guerrero trying to get a ground ball off the bat of Trout with his sinker.
Trying to get that ball down and away. The 11 hits today for Nolasco, the most he's given up in an outing this year. Excuse me, that ties a season high.
Gives up 11 hits and a loss to the Royals back in April. 10 hits in his Twins debut. Fourth time rather, he's given up 10 or more hits in a start.
Matt has that little sinker, also a slider, curveball, changeup.
2-1 to Trout. Drilled into the corner. Navarro will score. Calhoun to third. He's being waved around. Trout with a 2-run double.
Remember my scouting report earlier, you have to establish a way, and if you come in, you have to come in off the plate. He's so quick inside, and exactly what happened. Matt Guerrero fell behind an account on our pitch by pitch, 0-2. Then he went down again at Trout, fouled off, and then you can see how quick he is inside, opening up quickly and lining it just over the head of Escobar into the corner.
And now it's 6-1 with Pujols at the plate. Down low, ball 1. The fourth pitch looked to be the same pitch and almost the same spot as the third pitch. And Trout put a better swing on it, lifted it over Escobar for a 2-run double. 1-0 to Pujols. Poke to right, base hit. Trout to third, he'll be held there. And Pujols with 3 hits today, 2 of them to the opposite field. He pulled his first hit through the hole to left. And Matt Guerrero comes out of the pen and gives up 2 hits to Trout and Pujols.
And Ron Gardenhire coming back out again. The 2-run score charged to Ricky Nolasco.
6 earned runs and 6+ innings, and another pitching change in the 7th. Hits. Trout driving in a pair with a double. Pujols following with a single. And the Twins, who trimmed the score to 4-1, now find the Angels in front by 5. And Caleb Thielbar will come out of the Twins' pen.
Yeah, Caleb worked here on Tuesday night. 1 shutout inning. Threw 9 pitches, 5 for strikes. Caleb came into the 8th inning and relieved Matt Guerrero, able to get out of that inning. Got the sacrifice fly off of Calhoun, and then I believe there was an out recorded. He faced only 2 batters, able to get 3 outs.
We'll bring the infield in with Trout at third, Pujols at first, Hamilton at the plate. Nobody out here in what's been a disastrous 7th inning. See Hamilton doing very well against lefties. Strikeout, an RBI single, and a walk so far for Hamilton. 1-0. Breaking ball missing. And whether it was Nolasco early in the ball game, Guerrero here in the 7th, falling behind any hitters, never a good way to go about your business. And it's 3-0 to Hamilton. Thielbar brought in to get the left-hander. Ibar and Kendrick will follow.
Caleb only 7 walks, 1 intentional in 25 innings pitched. There's a strike.
Twins have 3 left-handed relievers, of course. The Angels probably today and tomorrow won't have any, with Santiago expected to make a start this weekend. This to short left, and Parmalee comes in and makes the catch for the first out. Now tagging and going to second. Escobar's throw gets Pujols. Pujols tried to advance on Parmalee's flip to Escobar. That's a nice relay by Escobar, cutting it off and throwing to Dozier.
That's a heads-up play, too, because Morales, the first baseman, is the cutoff man, and he went over toward that third baseline. So Pujols, what he did, he went and tagged up and then went about halfway and then realized, okay, I think I can make it. Well, he did not.
Second out for the Angels at second base. Earlier, Navarro was thrown out trying to steal. Suddenly 2 are out, and Ibar, the batter, in the infield can play at normal depth. Down and in, ball 1. Ibar given credit for an RBI double. He had a pop fly down the left field line in the first inning. 1 run had already scored. There were 2 outs. Florimon had trouble tracking the ball in the sun, but the ball hit him right in the middle of the glove and bounced out. And somehow Ibar was given credit for an RBI double, and that meant the run was earned, meaning all 6 runs now have been charged to Nolasco as earned runs.
I want Thielbar to get Ibar out right here because it'll be the second appearance in a row. He's faced only 2 batters. We got 3 outs. Kind of cool.
Can he start? Drilled foul. 2-2. Well, as much as you want Thielbar to get Ibar here, I would imagine Matt Guerrero really wants him to get him. Trout is Guerrero's responsibility, stats-wise, at third base. Guerrero didn't retire a batter. Field foul over the Twins on deck circle. Mike Scioscia says that Eric Ibar should be in Minnesota for the All-Star game this year, having one of his best, if not his best, all-around season. To left center, Full trying to track it down. Nice running catch by Sam Full down the warning track.
Oh, he had a chance to do the Bo Jackson run up the wall.
I'm just happy with the catch.
Well, great catch by Sam Full to end the 7th.
And it's a 2-run 7th inning for the Angels. A little heat on the Rangers in the bottom of the American League West. Texas hosting Detroit tonight. The Twins now find themselves down 5, and they get into the Angel bullpen and Corey Rasmus.
Yeah, Rasmus, a couple stints with the Angels this year, making just his 9th relief appearance. 8 1/3 innings. He's allowed 5 earned runs, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts. And Rasmus, the brother of Kobe Rasmus, now with the Toronto Blue Jays. John McDonald taking over for Freese at third base.
Mauer will lead things off. Twins have not been able to exploit the weak spot on this Angel roster. It's bullpen. Getting their first look at Rasmus. And outside ball 1.
Scouting report on Rasmus, a fastball in the low 90s. Our last fastball clocked here at 93. Curveball and a changeup. Pitched a little bit with the Atlanta Braves last year, and then over to the Angels.
Hit hard to left center. Going back is Trout. And Trout has it go off his glove. It's in play, and Mauer has a double. Seen Trout make so many great catches, and it looked like he had it in the glove or it hit off the top of the glove. Mauer has his second hit of the ball game.
Yeah, Joe hit this ball sharply. It has that slice type of motion. Now Trout trying to leap and time his jump. The ball came back into play.
So not many balls find Trout's glove and are still in play. That one did. Mauer has a leadoff double. Here's Kendrys Morales. Angels shift. Morales, even with a runner at second, and a 5-run lead. Down and in, ball 1. Mauer has the luxury of getting a huge lead from second base. He need only be concerned about Ibar, the shortstop, who's standing about 30 feet from second base. Down and in again. Bullpen's been a real sore spot for the Angels. They've changed closers. Right now it's Joe Smith. Mike Scioscia said ideally they want to get Ernesto Frieri back into the closer's role.
Yeah, they want to get them back to postseason. They have to improve their bullpen.
Now you did pitch for the Angels, and they're absent a left-handed reliever for this game. Scott Downs designated for assignment by the White Sox last night. We might see Downs back here with the Angels. I would think he'd be a possible fit. Morales fouls it back 2-2.
Yeah, Downs was here last year. Actually, Corey Rasmus was part of that trade from the Braves that made Scott Downs a Atlanta Brave. That happened back on July 29th of last year.
You're the Angels, you'd be a little concerned. As good as Downs has been against the Twins, the White Sox have bullpen issues of their own. It seems like a curious move to make. 2-2 to Morales. Popped up. And the third baseman, John McDonald, comes in, makes the catch. McDonald in for David Freese.
Take a look at Joe Mauer's, how close this was from going out.
Hit the glove and then the very top of the fence. And now Arcia will bat. Arcia with an RBI single in the sixth. Obviously the only run the Twins have scored on the afternoon. He's a strike.
Corey Rasmus, 26 years old. He's a Braves #1 pick back in 2006.
Off the plate with a breaking ball, 1-1.
Yeah, last two pitches curveballs, one for a strike, one outside. Rasmus in AAA Salt Lake, 2-1 with a couple saves in 27 1/3 innings.
Swing and a miss. 1-2.
Good change up there.
It sure seems like Arcia is getting an awful lot of off-speed stuff. Caught up to a fastball yesterday from Garrett Richards and crushed a home run. But the Angels really feeding him off-speed stuff. And that will continue through the Texas series, one would think, unless or until he starts adjusting. Got a piece of that curveball.
It's funny how the game changed, because in that White Sox series it seems like they were busting him hard in with that fastball over and over and over. Now the Angels saying, okay, we're going to throw more slow stuff. If we do go in with a fastball, you want it in. But my account, 4 pitches so far have been a couple curveballs and then a couple changeups by Rasmus.
One and two. Fastball off the plate. And the game has changed. You're right. This at bat now potentially could be reviewed by 8 or 10 opponents down the road. That's the nature of the game now, where every at bat, every pitch, every stolen base attempt is on video and is part of the scouting report that teams put together. Chipped his bat, lunging for a foul ball. They'll get a new one. Hit it right off the end of the bat.
And another changeup.
Garcia getting a bat thrown to him out of the Twins dugout. Now, sometimes hitters will tell you, or pitchers too, they'll look at video and they'll just look at something good that happened. They want to reinforce the positive. But if you're scouting an opponent, you look at his bat at bats and how you can exploit Arcia's over-eagerness, if you will. 2-2. Swung on and missed, and Arcia strikes out.
And another changeup. So he only saw one fastball in that at bat, and that was a fastball up and away. Other than that, breaking balls and changeups.
Listen carefully for your chance to win 2 tickets to the All-Star Game in Target Field. Head down to Sneaky Pete's in downtown Minneapolis on Wednesday, July 2nd for the next session of Baseball Unplugged, presented by Budweiser. Join special guests Glenn Perkins, Phil Hughes, 2 pitchers with All-Star Game experiences. One lucky fan will walk away with a pair of tickets to the All-Star Game. Kurt Suzuki, the batter, 0 for 3. Speed pitch over for a strike. Popped up and out of play. 2 strikes. Twins falling behind early, 4-0. Getting it trimmed to 4-1. And the Angels scored a couple of runs in the 7th. All 6 runs, earned runs, charged to Ricky Nolasco. Oh, 2. Foul tip. I think that's Mark Carlson, the home plate umpire. Conger goes out to the mound, has a little chat with Rasmus.
Conger comes back and asks Mr. Carlson, "Are you okay, sir?" You have to be polite to the men in black.
Always a good idea. Yes. I know you were throughout your great career. It's only after your playing days ended have you been vicious to umpires.
No, I'll tell you what, they do a great job.
Suzuki got a fastball he thought he could belt, and he fouled it back. Still 2 strikes.
Other than us talking about Mark Carlson being a home plate umpire, both managers, I don't think the players.
Yeah.
And that's what I think fans, as you leave the ball game, you want to talk about great plays, and things like that, rather than, boy, that umpire behind home plate was terrible.
To me, the worst is when you hear a manager, a coach, or a player, or even fans saying, "Oh no, we got so-and-so behind the plate." And we get a chance to hear that all the time. Umpire's reputation precedes them. That's not good. Sometimes it probably is undeserved, but you're right about this crew. We really haven't had any issues. Jerry Davis, the crew chief, had the plate the first night. Last night's game, Quinn Wolcott seemed to get under the skin of Garrett Richards a little bit. Something did. Poke foul and back into the seats again.
I don't think it was a home plate umpire. I had asked about his mannerisms on the mound. Mark Langston, a former teammate of mine, actually does radio here in Anaheim, he said that's the way he is. Once in a while he'll go out there like he's, just not happy.
Okay.
And it had nothing to do with the balls and strikes. He just expected a little bit better. And they say even though he pitched a good ball game, it wasn't not one of his best starts. But he struggled through, if that's the way you want to work. 7 1/3 innings, all allowed 2 runs.
Suzuki battling tough against Rasmus. The count's 1-2. And now it's 2-2.
I know it's to a Twins batter, but I like that pitch.
Because?
Up and in. It just don't be leaning out over the plate. I think we saw Weaver do it a couple times to the guy's feet. That ball kind of chest high.
And he tries to go down and away.
Down and away. Yep. It's part of the game. Believe it or not, you're not out there to make friends. You're out there to hopefully beat the other team.
And I don't mean this in a bad way. You were one of the best at that.
Well.
Suzuki hoping to have a good payoff to this at bat.
Long battle right here between Rasmus and Suzuki.
Suzuki looking for his first hit of the day.
Pitch number 9 in this at bat.
Pop up behind first. Kendrick tracks it and finally puts an end to the Suzuki at bat. Twins lead Bauer at second base after his leadoff double. Will pitch first. Let's get caught up.
Well, Albert Pujols with an RBI single in the first inning, and then kind of a gift double by Ibar made it a 2-0 ball game. Jarrett Weaver, 7 very good innings. He's looking to go 7-0 lifetime against the Twins here at Anaheim Stadium Angels Stadium. In 8 starts. Mike Trout, another good day at the plate. A couple doubles, 2 for 4, driven in a couple runs.
Howie Kendrick with a single and 2 lineouts. for some high cheese, 1 strike.
Facing Casey Fiend, who makes his home here in Southern California. A chance to, I don't know if you met his grandmother a couple
Not
days
his grandmother,
ago.
no.
And the mom and dad.
Kendrick, Conger, and McDonald will hit here in the 8th. Fouled away.
Well, Fiend has done a good job out of that bullpen, making his 36th relief appearance. I actually asked his grandmother, did he get his determination and the way he attacks from you? And Mr. Fiend said, no, from me.
Oh, is that right? Lifted foul and out of play. Last game of this series, and then the Angels come to Minnesota in early September, the first weekend in September, for a 4-game series. And Kendrick has put the barrel of the bat on it 4 times today. 2nd hit. And that'll bring up Hank Conger. Our trivia question brought to you by CarSoup.com. I'm going to go Chuck Knobloch.
I'll go Cesar Tovar. Pepe. Rod Carew, 1977.
Okay. And Hank Conger will hit here with nobody out and a man at first. Mr. Carew made a visit to the Twins clubhouse yesterday before the game to say hello to people that he's spent a lot of time working with in spring training. And then Rod heading to Cedar Rapids, Iowa this weekend for an appearance with the Twins Class A affiliate. Two strikes.
Outer half of the plate gets a called strike.
Close enough. A pitcher's pitch. It had the black.
Bigger black.
That was so far outside, yeah. It had the gray. Conger out on strikes, 1 down.
And Fiend picking up a strikeout, his 17th. Excuse me, his 24th in 32 innings pitched. We'll take it.
John McDonald will hit. McDonald inserted defensively at third base for David Freese, who we've seen regularly be swapped out for a defensive change late in the ball game. He's not hitting much, and he's being taken out defensively. So, yeah, I would think the Angels would be very disappointed in David Freese's first year with the Angels.
Well, John McDonald, we talked a little bit last night about him. 39 years old. The Angels, the 8th different major league team that he has played for. He signed actually a minor league contract with the Angels and then started the season with them. They picked up his contract out of spring training late. Known for his defense, a career .230 hitter coming into this year.
Would you agree with this? A Jamie Carroll type of player?
Yes,
Jamie,
for sure.
The difference was when the Twins signed Jamie, he had a couple of really good years at the plate with the Dodgers.
Yeah.
And third baseman, shortstop, second base type.
Last year, McDonald with 3 different organizations and 3 different clubs, the Pirates, the Phillies, and ended up with the Red Sox. Most of his playing career with the Indians, also the Blue Jays.
1-2. And Suzuki hangs on. Another strikeout for Fiend. After the game, the Twins head to Texas. I know you and I will probably go to the Tiger Ranger game, the last game of that series at the ballpark in Arlington.
You have fun there,
Do
okay?
a little game prep and all that for our telecast tomorrow, our Century Link to What's Next.
Sure, it'll be on TV.
Nick Tepish will go against Kevin Correa.
Hey, did you bring your cowboy boots?
I might buy a new pair. I haven't bought any cowboy boots down in Texas for a while.
Why don't you buy me a hat like you did down in Houston that one time?
Well, when I see you wear the one that I bought you in Houston, I'll buy you another one.
Is the dome still up?
No, I don't believe it is.
I think my hat went down with it then.
You tucked it away, did you?
Up in the rafters, yes. Told you, if you're going to buy me a hat like that, buy me two.
I won't ask you why, because I know the answer. One strike, and now a ball hit to left toward the corner. Parmalee gloves it to end the inning. A leadoff single does no damage. Twins hope to do some damage in the ninth. That is heavy music. That is serious music.
It's deep.
Ernesto Frieri comes out of the Angel bullpen to pitch to the Twins in the ninth inning. He is not the closer right now, although Mike Scioscia said again yesterday they hope eventually to move him back into the closer's role.
Right. These innings are very important for him in a non-save situation. Frieri worked here on Tuesday night, one shutout inning. He worked the 8th inning, and then Joe Smith ended up picking up the save in the Angels' 8-6 win. 13 pitches, 8 for strikes here on Tuesday night.
Parmalee, Escobar, and then we'll wait and see whether Jorge Polanco will hit for Florimon. Ball one. Parmalee's had a really good day at the plate, and he averaged up to 253. 3 singles. First one, the hardest hit one of the 3.
Came into the game hitting 226. And with the 3 hits, it jumped up.
Jorge Polanco was awakened in the middle of the night from Fort Myers, Florida, told to come to Los Angeles. 1-1. And now 2-1. Fly guy all the way across the country. On the one hand, you'd like him to sit and watch, but you never know.
Might be a good time to get his feet wet.
Foul back. Twins with 9 hits, Parmalee with 3 of them. The logic behind Scioscia's contention that the Angels are a better ball club with Frieri closing than Smith, it's not meant as a slap in the face to Smith at all. In fact, just the opposite, that he's more flexible. Fouled off the headgear of Conger. That Smith can go maybe the end of the 7th through the 8th.
Right.
Effective against both righties and lefties, and so valuable as a setup guy that he's almost more valuable to them not closing than closing. And so that's why they want to get Frieri going.
Frieri last year 37 saves for the Angels. Prior to that, 23 when he was traded over from the Padres in 2012. For the Padres, he's kind of a long man out of their bullpen, and then when he got traded to the Angels, put into that closer role.
Fouled away by Parmelee.
Frieri, 28 years old, from Colombia, signed by the Padres in 2003.
And Parmelee strikes out on a pitch down and in.
Yeah, good hard breaking ball right there, and Frieri picks up a strikeout. Good hard breaking ball, good location. Down underneath that swing of a lot of lefties.
And Escobar in the box, and Polanco in the on-deck circle. Escobar's had a terrible time here. He's hit the ball hard, doesn't have anything to show for it. Hoping to get out of town with 1 hit. Hasn't hit it hard here tonight. A couple of pop-ups, or today, a couple of pop-ups and a ground ball. 0 for 3. One strike to Escobar. Two strikes. Escobar with a liner to center. That's a base hit. He's aboard for Polanco. Escobar gets his hit in what will likely be his final at bat here in Anaheim. And Polanco showed up at the ballpark right around first pitch. He is just 20 years of age. He's the youngest Twin to make his major league debut since Joe Mauer. He, like Danny Santana, a switch hitter. San Pedro de Macorís in the Dominican Republic.
Well, those are his numbers down in Single A. Fort Myers, the high Single A affiliate for the Twins.
Last year in Cedar Rapids, he played almost exclusively second base. So if you want to imagine down the road, you can potentially have an infield of Santana at short, Polanco at second, both of them switch hitters. Similar type of players, although Ron Gardenhire said Polanco isn't as fast as Santana.
He will always remember this at bat right here.
2-0.
And he will be asked, I'm sure, to take a pitch right here. Twins need base runners.
3-0. Last year was his first full year in the minor leagues at Cedar Rapids, and he hit .308, 465 at bats, 32 doubles, 10 triples, 5 home runs, 42 walks, 59 strikeouts. Frieri in danger of walking him in his first major league plate appearance. And he does on 4 pitches.
I guess they already had heard the news. Good scouting report. Pitch around this guy.
And here comes Mike Butcher. Escobar and Polanco. on the bases. Just a little background as to why Polanco was the one called up from Class A. He's on the 40-man roster, and he had to be on the 40-man roster because he would have been otherwise, Joe Smith warming up in the bullpen, otherwise exposed in the Rule 5 draft. And best way to suggest it, remember Johan Santana was picked up in the Rule 5 draft out of Class A. That's what the Twins feared might happen with Polanco had they not put him on the 40-man roster. It's not very often that a player is called up from Class A to the big leagues, but in this case, Twins weren't left with many other intermediate options. Here's Full, 2 on and 1 out. If Full reaches, it does become a save situation for another relief pitcher.
Remember, the Twins had Ryan Presley last year. That was a single A player, and he had to stay with the club the whole year and pitch very well. Now he's down at AAA.
Doing essentially the same thing. 2-0 note out of Full and doing okay at AAA.
And the fans of the 32,000 plus here that are left are letting Fieri know of get the ball over the plate. And the loudest ovation of the day.
And people are generally in a bad mood the day after Christmas anyway.
Got to pay all those bills. They're going to be coming in the mail.
Angels celebrated half Christmas last night. 2-1 to Full. And a strike, 2-2. Two to the Twins center fielder. Chopper and Frieri sets and throws for out number 2. 2 runners move into scoring position for Dozier. And the Twins are down to their last out. Dozier hitless, 0 for 4. Chance to drive in a couple of runs with a hit to the outfield. It hasn't shown up, at least not yet, but the Angel bullpen has been a sore spot for the Angels. The Twins haven't been able to exploit that at all in this 3-game series. Dozier takes a strike. When the Twins see the Angels again in early September, it stands to figure that the bullpen will be given a makeover. They need some help out there. Outside, 1-1. Two and 1. Foul back, just into the booth to our left. And over the left shoulder of Victor Rojas in the booth next to us. No help at all. And the Twins now down to their last strike. Blocked by Conger. First base open, Mauer on deck. because the tying run will be in the on-deck circle. It'll be a save opportunity for Joe Smith. And Mike Scioscia stalks to the mound.
And already pointing to the bullpen. Fastball away. And outer half of the plate for ball 4. Second walk of the inning.
Not what the Angels had hoped for from Frieri. He leaves having gotten 2 outs, but leaving the bases full for Joe Smith. And Mauer will come up with the bases loaded and 2 out. Hired Joe Mauer to end the ball game here 2 nights ago. We'll try to do it again here this afternoon.
Well, he signed as a free agent a 3-year contract over the winter. The Angels wanted to try to improve their setup role players, and Joe Smith was a good one. He had very good years with the Cleveland Indians. Came here to Anaheim. He picked up the save here on Tuesday night.
Faced 4 batters, gave up a hit to Brian Dozier. Got Mauer to tap out to short. Here, potentially, kind of a ticklish situation here with Mauer at the plate. The tying run is Morales. He's in the on-deck circle. And Mauer, who has reached with a pair of base hits in his last 2 at-bats, hoping to get Morales to the plate. Bases full of Twins. And a strike at the knees.
You see Smith with that submarine type delivery.
Mauer 1 for 5 with a walk against Smith. One and one. Breaking ball. Darted inside, almost hit him.
Little different situation sometimes when you're a setup man. Now you get to be the closer. Smith, so far so good. 6 saves. Had 3 last year for the Cleveland Indians. Eddie Guardado was out here. You know, he was kind of a long man at the beginning, starter, and he became a very good closer. He was out here with his Little League team yesterday.
2-2 to Mauer. The Twins again down to their last strike. Checked his swing. 3-2. And the carousel will start here. Bases loaded. Full count with 2 out. And Morales hoping for a chance in Anaheim. And Mauer asks for time. I see Joe do that very often. Once he gets in the box, he usually lets it ride.
Nick Smith took a little extra time not getting the sign that he wanted. Now he has it.
To the left field corner and down for a hit. 2 runs will score, 3 runs will score, and it's a 6-4 ball game. Mauer's 3rd straight hit, a bases clearing double, and Morales will have his chance.
They got a fastball up, and like Joe does so well, just went down that left field line. Ball sliced around the corner. There were 2 outs, everybody running. Dozier with his speed scores from first base. And Mauer with his 2nd double of the ball game.
All 3 runs charged to Frieri, and now Morales, who is 1 for 4 against Smith, but the one was a home run. Strike that covers the inside corner. Mauer to third, there's nobody there, and he'll just trot into third base, 1-1. Angels had the shift on with the third baseman McDonald playing where a shortstop would normally play, and Mauer advances. 1-1. 1-2. Popped up, back and out of play. Well, the Twins left 8 men on in innings 4 through 8, but now they get a big 2-out hit from Mauer to draw to within 2.
Smith with that sinking fastball, then that frisbee type breaking ball.
Struck him out. Smith gets the save, and the Angels get their 3-game sweep over the Twins. Twins coming into this series in Anaheim, Tom Hanneman with a 4-game winning streak. They'll leave Anaheim with a 3-game losing streak.